Welcome back. Okay, now I've done two historical videos for the evergreen content on the channel. Now we get into news of the day and potential news of tomorrow. As there's going to be a reveal tomorrow of one of the many alternate jerseys coming in. It's not a retro throwback in this case either, so lots of speculation about what it might be. But let's start off with the news that's kind of big. Devon Toews, 4 years, $16.4 million. So he gets $4.1 million as a cap hit for the Colorado Avalanche. And that's why the Islanders traded him. The Islanders can't afford to pay Devon Toews $4.1 million because they can't get rid of Boychuk's contract. They can't afford to pay the guys they have. It is a darn good thing for Lou Lamoriello that the Zach Parise deal got hung up. He was trying to acquire Zach Parise at the trade deadline. If they'd acquired that contract, I don't know how you do it. I don't. I'm not sure how you make that work. But so that's why Toews is where he is. And speaking of the Islanders, they came to an agreement with a number of their players, including Josh Ho-Sang. Josh Ho-Sang is a lightning rod when it comes to opinions regarding his talent level. I think the fact he's in the AHL speaks more to just the fact that he doesn't fit in to any top six spot with the Islanders. He's not a guy who projects as being solid as a bottom six option, so I think that's why he's in the AHL. And he agrees to a $700,000 deal at the NHL level this coming season, $225,000 if he plays in the American League. And of course, there will still be that debate. Does Ho-Sang belong in the NHL? Are the Islanders treating him badly? Does he have attitude problems? What's going on with Ho-Sang? When's Ho-Sang getting traded? What's going on? So we can continue that conversation because as far as I can tell, nothing's really changed. He's just sat down with the team and gone, well, I can't negotiate for more than $700,000 because I haven't played in the NHL. So it's a league minimum contract, still decent pay in the AHL, $225,000. Good on him. And so we'll see. We'll kick that can down the road again, and we'll see if the Islanders end up at some point moving Ho-Sang. I mean, Lamoriello's tried. He's come out and said he's tried, and there just haven't been takers. So for those who still believe that he's going to eventually be a really solid player in the NHL, this will not sway them. So we'll see what happens. Jeremy Colleton was interviewed and has stated that he really hopes the veterans are on side with this whole rebuild idea. This is the problem with it, though. So the Hawks have come out and said, okay, so, hey, season ticket holders, we're probably not going to be that great this year. Just be patient. And of course, before that, Jonathan Toews, we're done with Devon Toews, we're talking about Jonathan Toews here. No relation. Jonathan Toews has come out and said, that he was upset about the direction the team's headed in after the Saw deal. And there doesn't seem to be the communication with your veterans. You do not have to go to your veteran players and ask permission to go into a rebuild. But you should make sure you're on the same page. So the way the team should have handled this is just to make phone calls to the players and go, hey, not to alarm you guys, but we're looking at our roster for next year. We're looking at just the overall picture of things, and we think now's a good time to head in a different direction. Or at the very least, acknowledge that it's needed. Acknowledge that it's more important now to look to the future than to worry about the present. So we wanted to touch base with you guys and make sure that you understand what we're going to do. And I think that's important. I think most players will buy in. There are some that won't. I'm not saying that Toews, Kane, Keith, and Seabrook would all buy in and say, that's great, boss, what can we do? But at least let them know. So that it's not a matter of them looking at their goaltending depth and looking around and seeing Sod's gone and going, wait, what's going on here? So the Hawks, I think, need to work a little bit on the messaging. John Scott was not happy about the whole idea of them rebuilding. Everybody's going to have a differing opinion on that, I would think. But yeah, Colleton's hoping they're on board. And all I can think is, shouldn't you guys have talked to them about this beforehand? It's not like they make up your entire salary cap or anything, right? It's not the entire salary cap, but it might as well be. When you look at the amount of money those four guys could take, it's a lot of money. So you've got to make sure that guys that make up, I'll say 35% of their salary cap, make sure they support what you're doing. Or at the very least come to some kind of an agreement with it, not because they run the team, but because if it's going to work, they have to buy in. If they don't, it makes the whole thing that much more difficult, that much more arduous, and that much harder to get from point A to point B without all kinds of drama. So we'll see how things go for Chicago. Lapierre. Hendrix Lapierre, who slipped in the draft to Washington. He signed his entry-level contract. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the Washington Capitals, drafting late in the first round over the last few years, they've got excellent value. And picking up players who could end up being steals later, they've been very good at that. So, yeah, we'll see if Lapierre ends up being a steal for them. It looks like McMichael may very well be. And the Capitals continue to do some good scouting and have some good fortune. The top-notch prospects fall to them in the draft. So all the best to him and to the Capitals as well. Oscar Fantenberg, if you're a Canuck fan going, when are we going to bring up... We can at least bring back Fantenberg. Nope. He's signed in the KHL with SKA. So that's another Canuck. I can only assume that the SKA team is the Flames. Because anybody leaves Vancouver, they have to sign with a team that's basically Flames, right? And I'm just kidding. I know it's not. But Fantenberg was a solid number 7 option for the Canucks, who jumped into the top 6 when needed. And they'll miss him. And again, it's a depth move. You've got Levy likely getting a role with the Canucks this year, but you miss that depth. When it's not there, you miss that depth. So Fantenberg moving on, and it's another hit to that depth chart, right? This was a good story, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the description to this video. The Ottawa Gatineau Youth Association, I believe, is the full title for the charity. There's the term, charity. They have the support of Erik Karlsson, Kyle Turris, Mark Borowiecki, and Jean-Gabriel Pageau. This is the charity that had been the Ottawa Senators Foundation before it divorced itself from the team. I think it's really interesting that the team had problems with Eugene Melnyk and decided to divorce themselves from the owner. And then they get four former Ottawa Senators to support him. Karlsson, Turris, Borowiecki, Pageau. That's interesting. That it's 4 former members of the Senators that come out and support. And again, seeing Erik Karlsson and his name next to Ottawa, and I'm like, that's where he belongs. That's where Erik Karlsson belongs. But anyways, I know people are going to say, well, he makes too much money and his contract would have been awful in Ottawa. I still think Karlsson, as a Senator, that's where he plays his best hockey. And it's a shame that he wasn't able to play his entire career in Ottawa. Just throwing that out there. But good on them. So like I said, I will link to their Twitter account in the description for this video. So if you want to check them out, you can. And it's always good to help out with youth activities and youth, especially with the pandemic having a massive effect on that. And so the more that people are pitching in to help out with youth and youth sports, the more you're helping sports down the road. So got to make sure the kids have a way to play. Speaking of finding a way to play, well, the ACHL has a couple of teams that have said, yeah, we're not playing this year. And they have a split schedule oddity coming up that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. The SPHL, yes, the Southern Pro Hockey League. It's going to be a 5-team league, 42-game schedule. It will start on December 26th. So on Boxing Day, the 5-team league starts up. 5 teams have opted out. So it was a 10-team league, now it's 5. And we'll see how it goes. So all the best to them. Shortened season and all of that. And again, I would expect the NHL to end up with a shortened season as well. You have to award the Stanley Cup before a potential Olympics. Not only that, but you have to award the Stanley Cup before September. It just doesn't work. So if you're going to award the Stanley Cup in 2021, you got to award it earlier than that. So you have to have a shortened schedule. And I think most leagues will have that. And yeah, so all the best to them. Again, for pro sports trying to exist during this time, best of luck, fingers crossed and all that. Major League Baseball figured it out. The NFL is still going through its issues. Various hockey leagues are having their issues as well, but they're doing their best. So I wanted to end off with this. Now, Dallas fans are kind of a little bit nervous about tomorrow's reveal. Tomorrow they will reveal the brand new jersey. It's black. We know it's black. It looks very similar to Tampa Bay's third jersey, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but that's okay. But the Skyline's coming. Now, Skyline has always triggered me because of this movie, Skyline. And I remember with Skyline, the number one thing I screamed all the time was don't look out the windows. Wait, why are you opening the curtains? How stupid are these people? It was a ridiculously stupid movie. And there are Dallas fans who think it's a ridiculously stupid idea to have the Skyline on the jersey. And all I can think of is the Denver Nuggets with the Skyline. The Seattle Sonics had the sort of a Skyline thing there. It can work. It can look nice. My favorite mock-up I saw was somebody just took a Mooterist jersey and then put a Skyline in red along the bottom of the Mooterist jersey. And I'm a fan. But if it's black and if there's a white Skyline, if there's a green Skyline, I don't know. I gotta see it. I gotta see how it looks. It might be one of those. That's really ugly. I have to get that because that's gonna be a talking point somewhere down the road, like the Mooterist. Much like when I got this jersey from the AHL store, the Texas Stars. That's why I'm wearing Dallas. I'm wearing Texas. This is unusual. This is an unusual jersey entirely, and it was on sale and they only had the one. So I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Because as soon as I bought it, it was off the site. So I was like, oh, done. So yeah, this is one of those interesting ones that afterwards people are going to look at and say, wow, that's really American. And I can say, yeah, right. So this is my, as I said on Instagram, this is my 4th of July jersey. And when somebody asked, well, where's your Canada Day jersey? I answered with, in Canada, every day is hockey day. So all of them are Canada Day jerseys. But I've got my Canadian hat, of course, for the Canucks, which is all covered in maple leafs and it's red and white. So hopefully on July 1st this coming year, I can wear that for Free Agent Frenzy, and maybe I'll wear this jersey with that so we can have joy across the border. And for fans in Europe, I'm sorry, maybe I'll get 6 or 7 flags to have on the hat, and we can have like this whole global thing. Now people are like, we may want to see that happen, we may not. But we'll see what Dallas comes up with tomorrow. The Skyline jersey, as it's being dubbed. That'll be interesting. I may even do like a reaction video for that jersey, where I load it up while I'm talking to you, find people, and say, here's the jersey, and here's my take on it. Because Dallas jerseys can be fantastic, and they can be fantastically ugly as well, or just boring. The word mark across the front, that's boring. It's just. I remember when they went to that, and I was thinking, wow, really? So you gave up on a logo altogether? Bold stance. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of these topics. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.